Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies. It's your boy Deadly. I'm with my boy Ray. We getting into this hip hop review. It's an album review. Today we got Qamp II, brought to you by Casey Cope and Marquito. We got a lot more collaborators. Gonna list them off real quick because there's a lot in here. So we got Marquito Sage, Atsu, Panda Raps, Artist Named You, Cash Campaign, Nexia, Alex Press, Big Soda, Bianca Brown, and I think I got them all. The reason why I had to list them all off is because this is a camp, it's a writing camp. So Casey Cope and Marquito, they basically tell you that within the interludes that this is a camp where they brought a bunch of different people that they listen to. They go to shows, they go to concerts, they study up on artists, and they bring collaborators that they would like to make music with to the camp, and they make it all in 3 days. It's an album done in 3 days. It's a very impressive feat. All Bay Area grown talent. So we want to talk about this.
We were gonna review the first one. This is the sequel, Qamp II. We were gonna review the first one, but timing and scheduling conflict. But we wanted to get to this one because we really like what these guys bring to the table. The way that they put the album together in 3 days and they make it kind of like a cohesive little project, even though each song had its own little vibe. It's cool. The interludes on here, I like the way they let some of the artists on here kind of speak, give their vision on what they wanted to do or they answer a certain question. Overall, like they have their own thing, and they I feel like this one, they took some steps. I feel like the first one was in the moment, and then this one seems more planned, because obviously the first one went through so smoothly that they were like, let's do a second one real quick, because this is within a year, I think. So Qamp 1 came out in 2022, and then this one came out this year, obviously. So yeah, we had to set aside time to listen and really be prepared to talk about this one.
Good thing we did, bro, because it's a really good project. I really fuck with it. From the intro to the end, on silent, that was an early showcase of their ability to song build together. They do that throughout. With like choruses and different voices and sounds going into them. It's all collaborations and harmonies, and this is a really good one. I like the song. I like the
yeah, that was smooth.
Then they do a little flip on it at the end. I thought that was cool too. A lot of different little moving pieces in all these songs with so many people, so many ideas, I'm sure, being thrown out. So you can definitely see it in every track. For me,
some of these tracks, they're having fun, and then some of these tracks, they're getting real deep into topics. This was one of the fun ones, a good way to start the album. Something loose, something groovy, something catchy to get stuck in your head. So maybe that's why they picked it as the opener. Set my hopes high for this album. I was like, okay, so we're getting into this smooth stuff. Know how to do a melody and put everything together for this second project, and then they get right into Jane Fonda. Hit me on the head. That was a change of vibe as far as like the way Aroma was flowing on that track, the way everything kind of switched. It was a switch of vibe, but it was awesome. It was pretty tight how they did that.
I expected some different stuff on here. I've never heard any of these other artists besides Casey on any of these tracks. First time I heard any of them. If you listen to the rest of the album, I mean, this doesn't necessarily sound like what you would expect from Aroma, but I think this is the first time we hear her on here, and it's quite an intro. It was really good. This whole track, Jane Fonda, was really dope. I like the rapid fire flow she delivered on the chorus. The beat was nasty. It was grimy. It was something. It was a complete switch from the first song.
It was banging. Yeah, this is a banger track. I knew Qamp 1, they had some bangers. The way they just shifted it with this one and as an introduction into Aroma, that was tight. That was a good way to a track focusing on one person kind of and just letting them go off. I think that was tight. Mullet was the one I kind of liked. It was kind of funny. Your face looked fucked up, like your nose like symmetry. It had a few of those on here. Like I was like, what the hell? Like it's just playful.
Panda Raps is a playful type of rapper. He's a real like wordplay type of guy. Brings you down real low and just like kind of spits at you. And then I think he plays off really well with Casey, because I think Casey's a guy who just likes to speak directly to you.
Casey messes with a lot of genres. One thing I noticed about him, he doesn't only stick to the hip hop lane. It makes sense that him working with other artists, whether they're singers or rappers, he knows, and Marquito obviously know how to put them in certain places that will really help them shine. And that's dope of that to happen, because this gives us more artists to look into and to check out. Especially going into these projects is exciting, because I know I'm gonna probably hear someone I'm not used to hearing, or hear a flow I haven't heard, because it's like, oh, okay, this artist does it this way. You know what I'm saying? You get some unorthodox styles, which is tight too.
I really like the chorus on this one too. Background, like him yelling and stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought it complemented the verses really well. And then we get into Straws with Aroma again, and she comes completely different on this one. Got some background vocals on this. It's really soft track. She comes really soft on this one too. It's like a whisper rap. The beat is like super lo-fi. It's completely different than Jane Fonda. You go from Jane Fonda to this and you're like, how can I go from this to this? And then it gets like techno at the end where it starts like picking up the beat and the beat starts changing. And you got some background singing that comes in. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
On Straw? It's like some ethereal singing coming out of nowhere.
Near the end too, right? Are you talking about near the end?
Yes.
Yeah. How I don't know who that vocalist is, but is that Casey? I don't know. She definitely hit me. I was like, dang, like this is getting super moody.
It might be a artist named You, I think. It was just a very interesting track, like kind of experimental. I tried my best to explain that. I felt like I might have lost it a little bit. It was a hard track to describe. So
made in 3 days, and it's called Qamp. And one thing about stuff that is Qamp, it's a lot of stuff that's just like it's a vibe. It's a certain mood. And I feel like this track was to get you in a certain mood, a relaxed mood, and then they hit you with the singing at the end. That kind of like brings you back into it, but it also fits the vibe. I like it. Again, something unexpected, especially after the first track with Aroma. So then you come with the more moody track to kind of, show that they could do both sides. And then you have another artist on there showing his range.
We get more of that on Out of Sight, Out of Mind with Nuxia, right? And then we get more of this like spatial, ethereal type music. It's more of like an interlude, and it's meant to lead into Feline, which also features Nuxia and has a cash campaign, Big Soda, artist named You. So a lot of people coming in to sing this chorus. This is one of my favorite choruses. I thought it was really playful, and then the way that the voices play off of each other, harmony is just so good, bro. So they're really good at just crafting songs together in this short amount of time. That's something that is noted on every single one of these is very impressive, is their ability to songcraft and not just have like good verses and have like star power. This is songwriting camp, and that's like the whole goal of this, to showcase. This is probably the best written song on the entire Trinidad thing.
Okay.
I like later they have Bianca Brown come on here for Cat, Feline to Cat. They kind of flip it, and then they have her sing over and have the chorus of this as the background, and they sampled it for that later track. And I thought that was really
that was tight.
That was a really creative and impressive way to make a song.
I liked Feline. Feline was a good way to also keep the vibe going. Getting all these artists together that I'm not really familiar with, and I overall like the vibe. That was a good track. I like this track a lot.
And that leads into another one, which is my affirmation song of the year, Gorgeous. Look at my face, I'm so gorgeous, please. Such a good song, bro. The beat is crazy. Somebody in the background, I think it's Cash Campaign in the background with that, look at my face, going crazy. And then you got Panda Raps on here too. So, Panda Raps had to switch up the whole flow on here.
Yeah.
He made the track what it was too. I mean, it's really cool, really smooth, really groovy. And then I think he adds just enough to it to change up it so it doesn't get stale. And I could just have this song on repeat, bro. It's just so good. Yeah. It's a really good track.
Another one of the more upbeat ones. I think they're good at that when they put together the upbeat styles, some of the funny bars. I think they're really good at the playful tracks. Of course, they're good with the deep tracks as well, putting together the album so quickly. The fun, let loose tracks shine, at least for me, a lot.
Dude, we got the most versatile artist on this, Aroma coming back on with Garden right after, and she delivers this like synth pop anthem. It was great. Did you like it?
Again, something unexpected. Again, showing her range, showing their ability. I was not expecting something like that on this album at all.
Definitely like, I just want to get in the club, and
it's not my Steve's, but it was a cool track.
She got her own thing on for sure.
Definitely got to do some work, do some research on Aroma, because every time they showed up, it was like, okay, like this is something different.
I asked Casey about like the project in general, and like we did a couple questions. So I was asking him about just the general sounds of this, and he was telling me that as Bay Area artists, we all have that, West Coast, Tupac, all this shit like ingrained into our bloods, right? But that's not necessarily who we are. We got other sides to us. We got other genres that we love to explore. We got tons of different sounds that come out of this area that are completely different than Tupac, completely different than LA style, completely different than the Bay Area legends, E40, Mac Dre. I mean, shit, bro, we love them to death, but you know, we got to do our own thing and show how unique we are, how special our sound is, and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool just to hear from him, because this is not your typical, like, it does not sound like it's necessarily from the Bay Area unless you are tapped in, you are listening to modern day Bay Area music, because it has progressed. It's a renaissance out here right now. I don't know if y'all know, but shit is changing rapidly. So you gotta stay up to date.
Bay ain't the same Bay it used to be. It's always been a culture, pop, but what's happened is I think our music has started to, especially hip hop, has started to allow, because you know hip hop is always a black genre, but other people have shown you don't always got to be hard from the Bay Area to make music. We review the normal stuff, of course, but we always try to tap in with alternative hip hop from the Bay Area because we from out here and we got a dope alternative scene.
Shout out to Casey for showcasing that. I mean, this is really just a look into what is happening into the Bay Area right now. I'm glad that all these different types of artists from all these different types of genres are able to come together and just make good music together, you know? We don't even really worry about what the labels are anymore at this point. It doesn't really matter, man. It's really just about making the good music. I think that the Qamp is a perfect example of just the purity of the music that's coming out of this area right now. So right after that, Red Bay Goddamn. What you think about Red Bay Goddamn?
I like this one. This wasn't a super upbeat track. I like Panda Raps and the artist name you brought to the table with this one. Panda Raps had more funny bars, I believe, on his other appearance, at least to me. This one was more serious.
I think he was setting up artist name you with his first initial one. I think that the first one was more like playing off of Casey, and I think that he's just good with his chemistry enough to where he can like morph his verse into what he needs to do for what's better for the song in general. I think this one was more, it needed to be like a more concise and direct verse rather than the jokey kind of other air that the other song had. It wasn't the same kind of track. So I thought he did it perfectly. I like artists named you showing their versatility as well. I don't think we got to hear them rap until this point. I think they were just doing background vocals, but they also got one here and did their thing. So
going into the next track fast enough, it reminded me of like one of those movies, and it's like a super, like, it's after a sad moment happens, but the character has to like come back, kind of, move up in life while they're dealing with their traumatic experience. That was what this track gave me the vibe of. I could see this being played in a movie or something like that. This was an interesting track. Similar to Garden Roma, giving us some different vibe. I think Casey was singing on this one too, right? Was that Casey?
Yeah.
Them two together, they definitely have a vibe. Like they could do more tracks like this together on some of his stuff or maybe on some of her stuff. And I could see them getting into their bag because this was cool. Like I said, this was moving on to the end of the album, so I feel like it was the perfect way to get into that bag.
Yeah, it was definitely reminiscent of Garden. I think that's probably their real bag, even though we've seen them do so much else on this project already with their versatility. But the synth folk pop, whatever the fuck you call it, whatever the genre is, like they definitely do it well. They put their whole foot into it. That was a cool little intro into, or like a transition into Off On, and that's another really good closing track with a lot of people. We got Alex Prost, we got Nuxia, we got Hokage Simon on here, Isaiah Mostria. We got a lot of names, and there's a lot of moving parts on this song as well. So many background vocals. The beat is amazing. I really love the beat. The little laser sound in the background that they do. That's a nice little touch. Just a really good closing track in general. I don't know what I was expecting. There was no expectations. Fuck your expectations, right? Casey's a rapper, so I don't know. I wasn't expecting necessarily he was going to get all these artists together and it was going to be, first off, it's majority women, right? And then they're also just really dope.
Casey and Marquito are showing that they can bring a bunch of artists together that are talented and put together a project, put a certain theme together. Like I said, with the interviews, the little interludes on here, they work. This is definitely a recommended project. Like if you just want to listen to something smooth, if you want to take some upbeat tracks, if you want some, not so hard, but kind of hard in a different way, if you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. This is a recommended project. If you got time, check out the first one. The first one's good too. This one though it's a little bit of an upgrade. I like it. I like what they did, especially with the promotion they've been doing. They've been pushing this really hard, and I think it deserves all the love that it's getting.
So you saying Casey Cope is the West Side Gun of the Bay Area?
Of the Bay? Hey, if he keeps making moves, if they keep doing this and find more artists to work with, this is dope because it's bringing other artists together. Maybe some other artists from this starts to blow up. It's tight to see that, they're using their networking abilities. They're going out and finding talent to put together, because maybe this could create some other dope collaborative work in the future. And we're definitely going to check out, some of these artists on here. And on the first one, we're trying to tap in and, get connected with the Bay Area. I mean, this is a good way to see what's moving in the underground.
Thank you so much to everybody we mentioned, especially Casey and Marquito, putting this project together, answering our questions. Appreciate that. You guys have a lot going for you with this camp. I'm glad that the writing camp that you guys try to get into didn't let y'all get in, because this is a much better product, I'm sure, than whatever they was going to put out. This is really dope. Y'all keep coming with stuff like this, and we're going to keep reviewing it. If y'all like this video, make sure y'all like it, y'all comment, y'all subscribe, help us out with the algorithm, share my reels. I know you see my shorts. Don't be fake. I see you, bro. Thank y'all so much. Go stream the album, most importantly.
And with that being said, peace.